you ever been called these names before? Well, I have. Hi, my name is Anah Ambuchi, and for months, I was called names that were not given to me at birth, causing me to wonder, what's wrong with me? Did you know that 1 out of 4 kids are being bullied? 74.1% of LGBT students are being bullied because of their sexual orientation, and 55.2% because of their gender expression. 77% of kids are being bullied mentally, verbally, and physically. 43% of students experience cyberbullying. Another 43% of students feel harassment in the bathroom. Each day, 160,000 kids miss school because of the fear of being bullied. And that's not all. Every 7 minutes, a child is getting bullied on the playground. I want to start a conversation in our schools, in our homes, in our communities on how to decrease the statistics. How? Well, you ask good questions. I'm creating a short film that tells the struggles of being bullied. In order to do this, I need your help. Help me. Help the youth know that they are not alone and that they too can overcome bullying. Be a part of this change and donate to my project.
You're tuned into the Seed Group Podcast. We're here to inform your mind and expand your horizons for a better life. I'm Carla. I'm a vocalist.
Hi, my name is Rochelle. I play the saxophone.
I'm Norman. I'm a keyboard player.
Albert Anderson, guitarist. And if you want to see any of us, you can come to South Lawn United Methodist Church, 8605 South Craig Ridge, Sunday morning. Or if you need our services, call 708-351-0333.
Today is a special day for our podcast. We have a very, very special guest, and it is my pleasure to say that I've known her for quite a while, and she's growing up, a little thing and just sprouting up. And one of the things I like to tell you about her is that she's a beautiful young lady, and her head is on the right place. She's very intelligent, highly intelligent, and yet she's humble. And that's one of the things I like her. And plus, I told her mother I'm going to steal her to have her as my daughter. Her name is Anah. I keep wanting to say Anya, but it's Anah. I'm not even going to try the last name because I'll let her say that because I know I'm going to mess it up. But I know her as Anah. She is 12 years old. Keep that number in mind, 12 years old. And yet, she has done something highly fascinating. She wrote and produced her own movie. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. So, everybody, I'd like to present to you Anah.
Yay!
Welcome.
Yes.
Also with Anah is her mother, Naomi. Hey, Naomi, welcome. And I see where Anah gets her beauty from, plus her humility and everything like that. This lady is no slouch either. She is very brilliant, and with that smile, with the dimples. I just love dimples. And
she has them, I don't.
Yeah. She to raise a daughter like this, in this day and age, where she does something so mind-boggling, and yet still not greedy, but she's humble, and she's looking out for others. It's not a me thing. I commend you because you are a fantastic example of what a mother should be.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Now that I got some of the butterflies out of my system, Anah, how you? Hey,
I'm doing good.
that's good.
Wonderful.
Tell us about what was the background, or what were the events that led you up to coming up with the idea of doing this movie?
Well, so after I was being bullied,
Mm.
I kind of went through this state where I didn't want to talk to anybody, and I was just being quiet. And after a few months of telling my mom, like it was close by to the end of the school year, when I finally spoke up, my mom really helped me to, remind myself that I am beautiful and, just to get my spirits back up. Because, I was having low self-esteem and I wasn't myself. And then I think after a few months later, I was with my acting coach, Ms. Josie Harris-Thacker, and I saw this book on her shelf called Dark Girls by Mr. Bill Duke.
Yeah.
And then I saw the book and I was like, wait, can I read this? And he's like, oh yeah, you have to read this. Like, this is the best book ever. And she said I could take it home and read it. And then after I read it, I could not put the book down because I couldn't believe that I wasn't the only one going through this. And from that moment forward, I knew I needed to write my film and, do a short film. But, before I read the book, I kind of, wrote my film in, a journal because, just to write it down, to have it as memories. But then after I read the book, I knew I wanted it to be a short film.
Oh, awesome. And the name of the film is?
Made in His Image.
I love it. I love it. Well, because I was actually looking up some statistics that I really didn't know. And according to DoSomething.org, which is a really good site about bullying, as of 2014, they said there were 3.2 million students that were victims of bullying each year. And, it's gone up from there. So when you got the idea to do this short film, what was the underlying idea of the story?
The whole story was to stop bullying and, to unite people and to tell people that we shouldn't be separated by our skin color and that we should love each other no matter what the skin color is. And to know that the people who are being bullied, to know that they're beautiful, amazing, smart, special, significant, no matter what anyone else says about them.
Awesome.
That's a good idea.
So, to ask your mom, because I'm not going to hog this conversation because I talk a lot.
No,
love you.
Stop. But to ask your mom, how did you feel when your daughter came to you and said, Mom, I have the idea for a movie?
Originally I didn't want the movie made.
No, and why is that?
I didn't. Because there was a part of me that knew that her story was my story.
Okay, I can understand
So
that.
the same words that she was called were the same words that I was called. And so for me, it was like, I can't believe some of these words still exist today. And I just thought to myself how, things are taught, right? In the home, generational. It just keeps, it's like a repetition, keeps going and going. So when Anna came to me and said, I want to make a short film, and I'm like, you want to do what? I really was like, you want to do what? Internally, it was like, no, I didn't want her to do it. But, I was praying on it, and I think just one day I'm sitting in my couch and just going through my moments of meditation. And it was really the Spirit that really spoke to me of just kind of saying, allow her to make her film. It literally just came to me. It's hard to explain. It was I was sitting on the couch and it was just because, she was so excited about it. She was just kind of I really want to share my story. I want to share my story. And I'm like, why?
Somebody needs.
I know.
Somebody needs her story.
Exactly. And so, when I finally came to my senses, Jesus, it was we're making a movie.
Oh, there you go.
I think one of the things about it is that when the story is told, it's always told from an adult trying to tell a child's story.
Right.
That's true.
But when the child tells the story herself as a witness, it does make a difference because they can identify with her even to a greater degree. Because it's wait a minute, she's not older than me.
Right.
And yet here she is, so mature, and so brilliant, and coming up and telling. I know it must have been kind of difficult, to rehash those examples of what she's been through and probably going through.
Yeah, because she was asked to also, her acting coach wanted her to play herself.
That would have been cool.
But I didn't.
Ideally, yes,
Good.
it'd been cool, but she wasn't at the state of mind to relive.
Yeah.
I could
I don't
understand
blame you.
that.
I didn't want to relive that moment, so I was like, I need to cast someone else.
Let me see
That's
if I
good. You were a director on top of it. Right
Yeah.
on.
Producer, director.
producer, director,
Right.
and let me make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Anah?
Anna.
Honest.
Anna. See, I'm gonna have to write this down phonetically so I don't mess this up. So, and I shouldn't. But see,
A-N-A-H.
Anna. See, that's why you're brilliant. But Anna, can you take us through the process of putting this movie together?
Okay.
Oh, this sounds interesting.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah.
Go with that.
I remember when I first wrote it, I literally wrote the whole story from the beginning of the school year to the end.
Oh,
Literally,
wow.
just the whole story. And then my mom's just looking at me like, "No, we ain't doing a feature film. You need to short that down." So I shorted it down, but it took like a few weeks to like, get it finalized, and I kind of had my acting coach help me, like to get it right, like to do the font, like to make it like professional. And after I did the writing, I remember that we worked with the cinematographers on another project for September Rain, and they really liked me, and I remember them in mind. And then I think my mom had their phone numbers at the time, and we called them and was like, "Hey, I'm doing a short film. Would you like to be a part of the project?" And then, they were like, because, they were expensive, but they were able to, like, do a reasonable price with me because, they really liked me.
That helps.
Yeah.
And it's a good cause to
Yeah.
devote themselves to,
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to be a killjoy, but I got a question. How in the world did you wind up getting to the Cannes Film Festival? That's the only part I want to know. And you won the thing, didn't you?
No, so my film didn't get accepted, but I had a special invitation and a special screening for my film.
That's
cool.
Awesome.
And they gave me a Rising Star Award.
Right.
Oh, that is
That's beautiful.
beautiful. Yes.
So how I got in was my mom submitted.
Good job.
There you go.
So in my stomach, I was kind of feeling iffy, like I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I don't know, because there was all these sound problems that was going on, but they were like very faint, like you could miss it. But
Well, I mean, before I even submitted, I think you had contacted the executive director because they were looking for. So committees, all these film festivals have committees that watch the films and choose. So they were looking for new committee members, and Anna just finished the Chicago Children's International Film Festival. She was a jury member.
Okay.
So she spent that whole summer watching films to be selected for, the film festival in Chicago. And so now she kind of had a little bit of experience of what it is that is required for films. So we contacted her through Instagram and, let her know that you were interested. And she was so sweet. She goes, the content that, our films get accepted is probably not appropriate for your age. And so we were like, okay, she's like, but it's, thank you, whatever. And so I think that kind of sparked her interest because then I ended up submitting the film, and I think she had remembered Anna from that whole conversation that they had on social media. So we got the call like in February, but we had to keep quiet. We couldn't tell anybody because the Cannes is very interesting because it is like the top of the pinnacle of film festival.
Yes, it is.
And so they were like, we need to know because it was a special invitation if you guys are going to come. And this is what we want to do for your daughter because we've never had anyone of her age submit.
Thank you. Yes.
To our, to the festival itself. And so, after praying about that, because that was also another interesting thing, we said, yes, we're coming. And then they started planning on their end what our 5 days was going to look like because we knew nothing until like the day of, what we were stepping into. But
I didn't even know I was going to go on a yacht for a party.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So and basically, so her film, they reviewed it. It went through the whole process, and they were honest with her. They said, your film was neck and neck with the adults. Like it was a 7.5. It has to hit a 10 to get in, and so she hit 7.5, and so she, So they're like, we want you to know, like, it didn't get officially accepted, but you were really running with some of these adult filmmakers, for a child. That's commendable. And so that's one of the reasons why they were like, they decided to bring her in. And another thing too, like the way the process works is that they view the films and then they go back and read the bios.
Okay.
So nothing is biased.
That's
nothing is absolutely biased. So when they watched her film, they didn't know she was, she was 11. And then they went back and realized, that's why, just like certain little things were missed, from that perfection, that they realized, like, oh, okay, it's an 11-year-old. That's why that sound issue may have happened, And so they gave her great feedback. They don't have to give you feedback, but they were very honest with some of the things that she could have done better, some of the things that they liked, and then kind of letting her know. Letting her know where the film sat in score-wise. So it was good feedback that she could use for the next project.
When's the next project? When's the next project?
I have a question. So you have an acting coach. You directing this film. Did you learn anything about acting, being on the other side, the writer and director of it?
So I've been acting since I was 5 years old, and really when I didn't know like how to direct at all. So my acting coach really helped me how to direct. And because she directed like a few projects, and she helped me to know that I need the shots, I need locations, I need to be organized, I need to have things down, what time people should be coming in. She really helped me with that to stay organized, because if I wasn't organized, things would just go all over the place. So I really learned how to be a director and how to take control.
Yeah, that's very important.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot of work though. She had 5 a.m. days.
Wow.
And still had school. So you have
I don't know how I do it. I don't know how I pass a test and then
trying to make a film and
Driven, that's good.
That was one thing I was going to bring up, is that 11-year-old girl, and you were saying that some of your stuff at first was rejected or something. One of those points when you were first starting out.
I think maybe you're talking about the schools.
Oh yeah, the schools. Yeah, the schools had rejected the film because it had the mention of God in it.
That's pretty much what I figured.
And so they would not allow it to be shown because they were because not everyone's a Christian at schools. So
yeah, I think that's baloney, but
it's a battle.
It is.
It is a battle that I get tired of fighting.
A lot of times when we get rejection, a lot of kids give up. But she took this and turned it around and used this for inspiration. Says, okay, when you want to play that way, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to become great. And of course, I continue to brag upon her.
I'll play. How long did it actually take you to produce it, time-wise?
Oh, how many days we shot it or something, or
How long did it actually take to produce,
from start to finish?
Start to finish, months.
Well, I mean,
not counting the school year. I'm just talking about when you're actually filming it. They filming it and trying to edit and all that different stuff.
Filming it was 2 days.
Okay.
Filming it was 2 full days.
That's all.
Yeah, 2 full days.
Yeah, but it's not 8 to 5. It's straight up 14-hour days.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Bringing back memories.
Good.
Right. Yeah. And post production. she wasn't really involved in post-production the way the cinematographers envisioned her to be involved, because they were so good. They really wanted to help Anna own on her skills. It was like, we want to teach you what it looks like behind the camera, and we also want to teach you what post-production looks like in editing, because we want your input, but we didn't really get into the post-production because of scheduling. I think we were just exhausted. From it. So when it was shot, we were down, like, y'all just take over and do your thing, But what I liked is that they would send stuff over, have us review it.
Yeah, have us review it.
What do you think? But they really wanted her in the editing room. Like, literally, we went one day to the editing room, and it was a lot. Like, it was like, can y'all just do this? So I guess, post-production wise, in terms of, we shot in April. It was done post-production by June. Yeah, that didn't take that long to put it together. Yeah.
But it kind of but we waited till October for the premiere.
Right, because it was bullying month.
Yeah.
That's why.
That was perfect time.
Yeah.
It was perfect time.
It was a good event. We had about 200 people show up for the viewing.
Yeah, my teacher showed up. And my vice principal.
Oh,
Nice.
good. Yeah.
They should.
Yeah, they should.
Thank you. They should be proud of you. What did you say, Mike?
As a mom, did you have any fears about her embarking on this project? And if there were any fears, were there any fears?
Yeah, so fear just lives in me.
Typical mother.
Yeah, right. So I'm always thinking, like, what ifs, the what ifs.
To be dead in order to be alive.
Yeah, right. I was like, what if? I think it started in the beginning where I didn't want her to write it because I didn't want my story out there too. Because I knew now I had to start being honest about my story. Like, again, like she was saying, bullying has always been there. When we were younger, it was teasing. I don't know what you call it, but
kind of ramped up.
Right now it's escalated to a different level. So it started there, and then we had some, issues during filming too that weren't going the way that we had envisioned, but that was just part of the process, right? These are learning curves. But I think really my one fear that really kind of like stung for a little bit for me was just more of like what God was doing in her life. Like I was, it felt like, and it still sometimes feels like this elevator that's just shooting up really fast than I had anticipated, am I ready, because I have to be ready to, like, I know it was like, oh, she's humble, blah, blah, but okay, that's a work in progress. Like, we have to have devotions every night just to kind of, to get her to be, who she is. And so, I didn't want her to lose who she was, right? And that's why I always bring her down, like, just because you're winning awards, you're still on, but she always continues, shows me that, she got this. She's not trying to be some superstar. She really just wants to share her story and, talk about bullying, without any constriction, and really tell people about how God had worked in her life and helped her change, this whole perspective of what beauty is,
I like that because when we had talked about it, you were telling me about the story about how she's still keeping a level head, but then she's got a level headed mama to know what how to
that
keep
helps.
her there. And again, I send kudos to the both of you because I think you both are so fantastic. And when you've got subjects like this, dealing with the pain that people go through, that is basically kind of ignored by society for now it's getting the play that it should, but still it's a long way to go, And then people tend to go and pick on people, usually because they're not happy with themselves. So it's their attempt to drag somebody down to lower than their level so that they can feel superior. But then they're so mixed up in themselves that they can't see that, they're hurting somebody. But to tell a story like you did, it lifts up the person that is being bullied, and yet in there, from the little bit of it that I saw, it doesn't it doesn't villainize the people that are picking on them so much, as it is maybe so like they need to be educated a little bit more to see what they're doing. They want to feel better about themselves. They need help. They want to feel better about themselves. So why take that out on somebody else? And make them. That you can call somebody ugly. Sometimes I just want to call people ugly or really, really, really ugly.
A lot of, I won't say a lot, but sometimes the bullying stems from their own feelings. The bully has their own feelings of low self-esteem. And, hurt people hurt other people, and they lash out the only way that they know how.
Yeah, we, so when Anna was getting bullied, it was just a really sad time in our life, honestly. And it got to the point where the school was not doing anything. Like,
they usually don't. Nowadays it seems like they well, we'll take care of it and just watch
and
it.
I had felt like, you guys should be doing something. I had to go 5 hours a day volunteering to this. I remember I literally was like, I'm PTO, like, you should take on my baby. But they didn't do anything.
I remember when the vice principal promised a meeting. And every time I would see our recess, like, when we're going to have that meeting, it was like, tomorrow. And it never happened.
Yeah. But I think what we ended up finding out, because there was like a cohort of kids who were bullying her. One specifically was a leader. And if you watch the film, because there's layers of bullying, right? And so for Anna, it was more of like a colorism bullying that was going on for her, and also culturism. And there's the one girl, she's much lighter, probably your complexion a little bit lighter, and she's shorter, smaller than us. So, so the one thing, right. So the bullying that she was experiencing, and I tell people, bullying people come in all sizes. Like, my daughter was bullied by a small little girl, but
in my grade.
What we ended up finding out is that this little girl was being bullied too by like an 8th grader. So, because I had to pull the mom aside, the school hated me that I did it. I said, nothing. I had to step in.
No, everyone in my classroom hated me.
They hated
because she started crying. And then they were like, "What did you tell your mom?" I was like, "It's not my fault. She's the one who come after me."
It was crazy. It was, and I had to tell Anna, that's reverse psychology that they're pulling on you. Like, no, because she came home crying about that too, and I'm like,
We had the same problem with one of my granddaughters, and my daughter is on the school board, and she literally said, "I need to talk to the principal. And we need to straighten this out." And they said, "Well, we're going to do it." And when they came to the school board meeting, she literally told them, "We need to talk about this bullying situation because my daughter's involved in this, and y'all not doing anything about it."
Yeah.
And it shocked me when I heard about it, because dads don't hear about it until way after. But it was interesting, like she said. It was when I found out what was going on, I said, "That's silly. Why would?" And guess what they were bullying her about? I'm her grandfather, right? My granddaughter is a little bit darker than her, and she has long, straight hair. That's what they were working. I said, that is crazy.
But interestingly enough, Andrea Cohn and Andrea Cantor did a study, and they found out, like, teachers, when you expect teachers to do something, they said 1 in 4 teachers see nothing wrong. This was as of 2014 with bullying, and they only intervene 4% of the time. And they don't, some of them, that's all a part of life, and that's all a part of, kids growing up, and they have to solve these problems themselves.
My teacher was like, "Why didn't you come to me when this was happening?" And then I kept quiet, but really in my mind I was thinking, because I don't trust you, I don't want to.
That happens too.
That's
exactly what they said.
And you do have to build trust. And when I was teaching in the public school system, because now I'm in private, that was a thing. My classroom, I always set rules. I was a music teacher, and I taught preschool all the way through 8th grade. And I set the standard on this is what is acceptable and unacceptable in my class. And teachers need to really take a look at that, because you're supposed to be molding young minds, not watching them be destroyed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot with bullying. The statistics are increasing, and I know also the teachers are doing a lot so little.
True.
You know, there's that battle, right, where they don't have enough resources or whatever it is. But also, I just feel like it's an administration issue. I really
that's
do.
true.
Like,
Yeah.
putting on the teachers too much is an administration issue.
Yeah. And
You know,
You
like,
know,
build a culture.
they were talking about some of the shootings. This has been maybe a year or two ago. I don't know about the recent ones, but I know they said that one reason the kid actually shot up the school because he was being bullied.
Yeah.
And he took it to the extreme.
There was a Columbine thing.
Bingo.
Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah.
Columbine. And that kid was being bullied.
Yeah.
That's why he did it. And I'm going,
But
oh, Lord.
and the sad part about it is a lot of administrators don't get involved until there's a lawsuit or something really horrid
Too
happens. And it's too late, and then they get, but sometimes it doesn't, there's not a shooting, but things escalate so much where the parent goes, well, I'm going to sue the school board because of X, Y, and Z. And it makes the press, and then they feel like they're obligated to do something when something should have been done from the very beginning. And then you wind up with some of the systems that have the zero tolerance. And there was one case where this little boy was being bullied. And he had talked to, his mom had done everything she could think to do. And the son had finally had enough. And he wound up really beating the bully up. They suspended both of them. And it was incredulous. Yes, it was incredulous. And they were asking why. Well, we don't tolerate bullying in our school. Well, you tolerated it when the bully was bullying the child, and now all of a sudden it's a problem. And also it was videotaped, so that probably didn't help either. But like you were saying, it's a lot on the teacher, but if everybody works together, it makes a difference.